And here I am trying to do something special for my family for the holiday, something tasty that they love, authentic Jamaican, I should say it's Jamaican style sweet potato, but the potatoes I think are from Honduras or somewhere like that. So I'm just gonna adjust my camera a little bit. So I'm doing the prep work now, hoping you guys will be able to see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can get this done a bit. Yeah. So basically what I'm gonna do now is just prep the potatoes, and for that, all I do is I get the potatoes and I scrub them with a brush. When I just scrub them, you see the color changes because the brush is taking off not just the dirt, but the outer skin of the potato. So let's talk about it. It's Christmas time. It's just a day away from being Christmas. Yay! For everyone who haven't done their prep yet, it might be too late. For us as a family, prep is mostly about having the right food. Because Christmas time is the time that we get to spend together. I'm not going to be peeling this potato per se, which is the reason why I'm scrubbing it. Wherever I see any imperfection in the outer layer, I'll just cut it out. But I'm going to slice this up and see, like this one here. Yeah. And then I will slice it up, dice it up, and I'm going to put it in the blender and blend it out. So this one is pretty much good. I cut off the ends. Yep. I'll move to the next one. I'm going to scrub this too. And as I scrub it, not just dirt, most of the outer layer comes off. And I'm just using 3 large potatoes. The same potatoes that I used to bake. You may or may not have seen one of my videos that shows me prepping potato for baking. Same thing. I use these, taking out the extra browns under so like those, I take them out. I guess technically there's nothing wrong with them. It's just because the potato has traveled. It's lived a life. It's wear and tear. But it's nothing bad. And this is my last potato, so I'm literally doing 3 potatoes. Potatoes by nature are very soft. So I'm going to have to use something to bind it. And what I mean by bind it is that when it bakes, I want something that's going to hold it together so that I have a firm enough texture that you can hold and bite into and enjoy the sweetness, the succulent sweetness of the sweet potato pudding. I'm not sure why I'm making one again. I did one last week. I think it was Friday. I whipped one up. Yeah, that one was very interesting. The flavor was perfection, but I got drunk. I thought I had left the oven at 350. I was going for 325, but somehow I put it at 225. So it wasn't enough heat to properly bake it out. I left it for 3.5 hours. And normal, that would have been a sufficient time for it to bake, but it didn't this time around. So this one is ready. I'm just going to do a final rinse. See that? There's my glass bowl. That's be done. I have a little bit of ginger, not much, just brushing it as well. I'll put that in along with the potato when I put it to blend. Yeah, so Christmas is like the biggest time of the year for retailers. Yeah, my brush is clean again. So the thing that we also use in a pudding, this is a hammer. Yes, you saw right. Just rinsing it off because it was on the floor and dust would have gotten on it. And that's because I'm gonna try to break this open. Yeah, it's a real coconut. So here we go. Hubby usually does this for me, but he's gone to work. So I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna try it. You usually make this look so easy. I guess it's not. Let's see. No, my daughter's having a sleepover. I don't want to disturb them too much. But I guess that's pretty loud. And it looks like this coconut super tough. My husband usually do one knock and this breaks open. Why is it that I can't get it open? No, it's not breaking for me at all. Wow. I gotta give him credit then. He makes it look way easier than it is. Or maybe it's because it has the plastic on it. You think that could be it? I need to break that open first. I don't think it makes a difference. Do you? Let's see. So taking the protective plastic off. Yeah, it looks like that made a difference. You guys, look. It's cracking up. Can you see that? It's cracking. It's cracking. It's cracking. See if it breaks. Yeah, it is. It's full on breaking now. See that? Can you see? Ah, the water is running out. You see that? It didn't have much. All right. So I guess the plastic really protected it. And also, too, Albie is way stronger than me because it's not even breaking open properly for me. There we go. That's a good looking coconut. It's so weird. But yay, it looks like I'll be able to do my pudding after all. Because I got all my main stuff that I need. Oops. I think I can work with that. I think it will come across, but I've made a whole heap of mess in here. My good coconut. Look at that. That's good coconut. I can't afford to lose that. I love eating raw coconut. And I see coconut pieces all over. So that means I'm going to have to rinse again what's in my bowl. Just in case. Real coconut, real coconut. This is a good one. Very good coconut. That is so good. But now, the debris I made, can I pull it apart? I got it. Now, standardly, should use a dish towel for this. I'm being stubborn. This coconut was so good. Sometimes this is what happens. So if this coconut has stayed another few days, it may have started to rot. Remember how I said there was much water? It looks like the water was slow leaking out of the nut. But yeah, this coconut is super good. They had for a completely different texture. So I'm basically just putting the knife here. Yeah, and working away the nut, the outer shell. I guess you'd say the nut from the coconut. Hey, who's online with me? Thanks for hopping on. Happy Christmas Eve. I'm just getting rid of that little part there. And again, that's how it is in nature, right? We don't make these stuff. They are a gift from nature. So it's all good. I've got my 3 very large sweet potatoes. This I'm going to use to make my roll later. I should make sure my volume is up on here. Yep, that's good. I'm going to make some cocoa cinnamon bun later. My daughter and her friends like it, and you know, they're having a hangout. I'm just going to head and prep it for them later. So I'm just going to go ahead and secure this coconut. But I feel good. I was able to do that by myself. This coconut is pretty large, yet it's the smallest of the 3 that my hubby bought yesterday. So I'm glad I was able to break it. Just trying to work out the remainder of the coconut. Just gonna drop it in the bowl. So it told me when I looked at the water was a bit murky. It wasn't clear. So that told me the coconut may or may not have been good, right? And as you can see, the water from the coconut had started to seep out, and that's why we see these discoloration on the skin of the actual cocoa, the cocoa. I have a few things I need to whip up today. Again, you can see that. Yeah, that's what happened when the coconut water seeps out of the actual coconut. It could have been that there was some damage when it was originally picked. Can I separate it? Yep. Yep. That should be good. I got the last piece out. So I ask my list is showing up really strong right now. I was able to successfully remove the cocoa from the nut. So yeah, just like that. See, that's the shell to protect that beautiful, beautiful coconut. So now I'm just doing a quick cleanup before I go on to the next stage. So I'm getting rid of all the peels and stuff that I dumped in the sink earlier. Well, I'm trying to. Not sure if I'm going to get it all in one go. But I'm making an attempt to keep the ear clean. The best way to go when you are baking or cooking by yourself is to clean as you go, because that way you don't have a pile up of your dishes, your tools, and all of that stuff that you use. So I'm gonna flip off this glove, grab a new set as I transition to the next part. And what I think I'm gonna do also, I'm gonna just walk with the blender and just, seeing as I have everything, just put it together properly in the kitchen. That way I don't disturb these kids who are sleeping out here. Yeah. It's so cute the way they've just crawled across the sofa. They have designated sleep areas. They choose to just sleep on the sofa. What can I say? All right. So now, prep for this took me basically 18 minutes total to do all of my prep. That's not bad. Consider the deliciousness that I'm going to make up, which means I can now put on back my oven, because I didn't think I was going to be able to break the coconut. So I had decided to turn off back the oven. And yes, I'm taking a pot from the oven. It's all stainless steel. What I typically do when I wash my dishes and there's not enough space for everything to dry, I stick them in the oven. Yep, you heard me correctly. I stick it in the oven. And by sticking in the oven, what it does for me is that it helps it to dry way faster. Just getting a plastic bag to drop the coconut. that I'm going to use a bit later for my coconut rolls. They've been cleaned up, so I can just drop them in a bag to secure them. I may just decide to shred it with a grater rather than using a mixer or a blender or a processor, as we'd call it. So yeah, stick it in the fridge till I'm ready for it in a bit. And I'm gonna need a piece of parchment paper for my tray. So I'm just gonna rip it from now. Be one less thing to have to do later. Now, once I get it wet, it should just fit into my dish. Okay, but I'm just putting a nick in the sides so that it will fold down the way I need it to. Yeah, just wetting your parchment paper allows it to fall more easily into your bowl or your tray or your dish or whatever. It moves from being stiff to soft and pliable. Yeah, and just like that, this is now secure for when I need to put in my batter. Okay, so what am I going to use as my binding agent? I'm going to use some cassava, some flour, and some cornmeal. So when I was cleaning the potatoes earlier, the purple from the skin of the potato splashed all over the side of the sink. So I'm just making sure I rinse it all off so that as I move on, I'm not distracted by that. I don't like to see mess when I'm cooking. So yeah, that's all sorted out now. I'll keep that bowl in case I need it for something. Not sure. You know what? I think I know what I'm gonna do. Do I have the bowl? Let's lower this just a bit so you guys can see clearly what I'm doing. Yeah. So I'm just gonna cut directly into this other bowl. When I was a child, the word that they used for these bowls was pudding pan. And you might find it odd that again, I'm gonna eat a little piece of coconut. Just because it's so good. But yeah, they'd call it the pudding pan. So when I got older and they said, get me that bowl, give me that bowl. I'm like, what are they talking about? All I see is a pudding pan. Shows you the importance of language and culture and how culture shapes our language. Again, so good. So I have these strips. I'm just going to cut it up into cubes now. Hearing it fall into the pan is so oddly satisfying. Okay. Can you hear the coconut as it falls into the pudding pan? I'm calling it pudding pan because I'm making pudding, sweet potato pudding. So yes, this time around. And I still can't not, I can, but I was going to say I couldn't resist, but I'm being greedy now. That tastes so good. Yep. Chopping up that ginger too. It's not a big piece, see? Just a small piece of ginger. But it's going to make a big difference in the taste overall of this sweet potato pudding. And for these big guys, I feel odd. As a child, my grandmother would have me grating the cassava, the yam, the pudding. Pan would be full to the brim. Because the older folks, they like to combine different starch or what we call carbohydrates. So they use yam, green banana, cassava. They wouldn't really use flour or cornmeal because the yam, the various yams, a piece of yellow yam, a piece of tall yam, or white yam, or a nice piece of loose yam, gummy, waxy. Once they added that, grated that in, oh my goodness. And they add the spices and just a touch of sugar. Sometimes when my grandmother baked, the pudding would come out looking purple because she'd also use like the sheen and the banana. Because the banana, when you grate banana and the oxidization, change the color of your pudding. So instead of a brown or a golden color pudding, you'd end up with a purple looking pudding. I think it's faster to just cut them in circles and then slice up or dice up those circles. So that's what I'm trying to do this time around. If I can do that easily. Have some frozen cassava. I should have taken out a piece already. So I got a little Italian. Yeah. So I've gone almost 30 minutes and I'm pretty much almost done with all I need for my pudding. The smaller I cut the potato, the faster it will blend. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to load this up into my blender. I think the last time I used it was when I made the last sweet potato pudding last week. Alright. It's a fairly powerful blender. I want everything to blend out properly. I'm going to use some warm water for the blending. So I'm going to just catch it straight from the tap. I think that's good. Maybe a little bit more. That way it doesn't get stuck. Yeah, and I still have room. So it's not bad. Snapped in. So I have one more potato to go. I'm rinsing this because it's going to be what I have for my final combination. Put it on right. Yeah. But I'm going to grab a piece of cassava. Hopefully, it'll take too long to thaw out. So this is the brand we get. You know, yuca is Spanish for cassava, I believe. It's called mogo. That's the name of the brand, mogo. No, brown Betty. Oh, Bedesi. Oh, wow. I never paid attention to that all this time. So I just want a couple nice pieces using this. That should be sufficient because I'm also going to be using some cornmeal and flour. If I wasn't using the cornmeal and flour, then I would use a little bit more and maybe some oats. I could still do oats and cornmeal. I need something to help that to thaw out faster. Get a bowl. Shift the camera out of my way so I can open this cabinet. Yeah, put it back where I had it. Okay. I'm just going to run the hot water. Some hot water on it. You can hear the wind howling outside. So my hot water is not as, it's not be hot watering as I want it to be. It is very cold here tonight. Not sure what it got down to, but it felt pretty cold so far inside here. So at nights, the pipes get really, really cramped, I guess, with the sub-zero temperatures. I don't think it's been above zero any time at all this past a couple of weeks. It comes up to like a -3 or a -2, but we haven't gotten above a minus. And that was before the winter solstice. Yeah, almost done. So that way my flow can continue easily once I start blending. I decided to do the prep so that anyone watching can see in real time how long it takes to do a sweet potato pudding from scratch if they want to try it. Can you hear that wind, guys? It is blowing hard out there. They said we were in for a severe weather watch. I'm not sure if it's still in effect because I fell asleep last night. I wanted some rest. I figured I had to stay up with these kids, but they didn't last. They were out. They were knocked out by 2 o'clock, so I didn't have to stay up for them. But I'm still up. Alrighty, so now putting back the oven. I do convection. So I put that 425 and it comes up at 400. And now I'm going to start the blending. I'm hoping they don't get disturbed by me. With the owling went outside. Let's hope. So I pulse because it chops. The pulse is similar like to me. This blender don't have a chop. It has pulse, smoothie, frozen drink puree, low, medium, high. So the pulse gives it a good chopping. If you notice the texture of the, oh, I think maybe I'm too far. Will it allow me to zoom in for you guys to see it? Let's see. Yeah. So there you go. Alrighty. So the pulsing chopped it up. So notice it's not as much as I had in there before, or it doesn't seem to be as much. And now I'm gonna go to medium. It's coming together nicely. I'm just gonna do a puree with it now. Okay, so that's pretty fine. So you can see as I pour it out. I may need, you know what? I just realized something. I am going to end up with way too much liquid for this bowl. So I'm going to try to pour back some. The ginger in that smells nice, guys. I put back a half, maybe a little bit more than a half. And now I'm going to add some more of the potato blend to this. It's just that I don't want too big of a pudding. I'm going to go back and do the same process. Right. I'm going to pulse. Now I'm going to go medium again. Out about 30 seconds. I think he wants a little bit more liquid in there, just to how it's looking a bit on the drier side. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more back in there from my original. And look at that. Almost the whole of it is in there now. Just have a little bit left back. So let's go ahead and snap it back on. Let's go back to puree now. I think this is the perfect blend. Power it off. Slide it off. Release the lid. This is a pretty cool blender. Actually, a friend of mine gave it to me because one of my blender had died. See? I think I zoomed in. That is a good blend, guys. So now I just have the last little bit of potato left. Not much. The last little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and add that in to my blender. I'm going to check on that cassava. I'm hoping that it's ready to go. Lock my blender back in place. Let's see the cassava now. Yeah, the cassava is good. I can work it. By work it, I mean I can slice through it. The hot water I used was sufficient to go ahead and thaw it out enough that I can slice through it. See that? So all I do is, once I can cut through, I check for the vine in the cassava. This, you don't want that to be in your pudding. So I pretty much just take it out. See? It's just a fine membrane that's in the center of the cassava. The piece before had a fat piece I just pulled out. This one is much finer. So I have to make sure I gut it out. For those of you who do butchering and you have to remove the tripe and stuff and things, doesn't this remind you of doing that? I know you'd say no, it's not bloody. Yeah. So this will make the potato pudding come together really good. If I wanted to use a lot of this, then it would be better. It gives a much better, a more refined taste. I should say not refined so much, it's a more succulent taste to your pudding because it's super gummy. It's like mochi type of gumminess. See this? How big it is? Yeah, so you take it out of the belly of or the center of the cassava. So that's the heart or the root. And that tells you the cassava really came from the earth because it needed to grow. And that's your evidence. Okay, there's a little thin, very little thin membrane, but that's okay. So I think this is enough cassava for what I need it for. I'm just going to go ahead and add it in now. Okay. Go ahead and rinse this. I think I might end up using that bowl to do my final mix. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to use a canned coconut milk. So I just rinse off the can because, you know, when things are in a store or they go through a factory, you never know what comes in contact with it. And here I am, I'm going to put it into my food. So I make sure that I clean off the top. Just like that. Get a little milk on top of the can. My dish towel fell on the floor, so just pick it up. Rinse my hands again. Turn off this water. So I'm going to use some of this milk to do the combination. The rest of the milk, I'm going to pour it in here. I'm hoping I didn't put too little. Let's see. Power it back on. Pulse. That seemed to be good. Medium. I think this is good. I'm going to make sure. Ooh, it's very thick. You see that? Whereas before it was runny, now this is thick. So I'm going to see about adding a little bit of that original mix into here, because that's very runny. And see if that will help to loosen it up a bit for me. So lock it back on, power up. Let's go medium. That made a difference. Let's see. Okay. I'm done with my blender now. Just cleaning up all my spills on top of my stove. So because of added the coconut directly into this, I don't have to worry about blending and juicing. I like the coconut in the mixture itself. I'm gonna try the pan, go back out. Yeah, so you guys can see better. And follow the final steps I do to get this combined to go to the oven to make this scrumptious, super scrumptious, delicious dish. So yeah, that's a good texture. And I don't have everything in there as yet. I'm going to take this out. Don't want it falling into my mixture like it did the last time I remembered. And I took it out. So yeah. I was talking to my brother and his wife earlier. They're in Jamaica and we're talking about growing up. And because of these delicious, succulent and decadent desserts and dishes that we grew up eating, we didn't realize we were poor, by the world standard. Now we understand that we grew up poor, or as some persons say, poor. Yeah, very poor. But because we had such rich culture, the food, the strong sense of community, we didn't understand that to others looking on, we were very poor. You see how rich that is with the cassava? Now, as they put in bakes, the cassava is going to get really gummy and bind the sweet potato. And I think that's the main reason why my grandma and her friends used the cassava. Yeah, I thought there was a piece that wasn't blended out. I was scared for a second, but no. So the drier the mix, it's better for you. It means it takes less time for your pudding to bake. So this is just potato and cassava, coconut milk. Trying to get all of the mixture out of the blender, not waste any of this really delicious stuff. But I know some of it's going to be left. The only way not to leave any is to get a bit of water, warm water, and rinse it. My oven is now ready for me. And that's a good thing. So yeah, I have gone ahead and put some warm water in there. Technically, I can just pour it all through there. And just like that, I'd be done with that. Just dropping it in the sink, guys. Move it out of my way. So now I need my spices, some sugar, my melted butter to add to this. And I'm ready to pour it into the pan so it can get baked. Alrighty. So let me just grab those things real quick. Yay, I'm excited. I've gotten a few more spices and such, and now my turntable is so heavy. Can you guys see that? So I have a cheat method that I use. I don't know if I told you guys or you saw one of my previous streams. The way in which I cheat on this is that with my flour mixture, I do add a little bit of baking powder and yeast because the potato is so heavy. The cassava is heavy, cornmeal is heavy, everything is pretty dense. So I wanted to bake and give you that rich goodness without all that density. So the best way I know how to do that is to go ahead and that makes it so much better. So when you bite into my sweet potato pudding, it tastes like you're eating a cake. And that's not easy to accomplish. And that's my trick for doing it. And I've given it to you absolutely free, no charge. Isn't that cool? Thank you guys for dropping in and out of my stream. I appreciate it. But it's a tedious little process to go through, but you get a really good. So I'm using about 3 cups of cornmeal, 3.5. All right. And I'm going to get some flour that I'm going to sift in. I'm going to use about 1.5 cups. And to this, I'm adding a little bit of baking powder. And as I said, the baking powder will prevent my pudding from being too dense so that it will cook evenly, easily. But these are my binding agents. Okay. So now I need the sugar and my spices, and we're good to go. I'm just going to add the sugar directly to this mixture. That's about 1.5 cups. I still keep my orange peel in my bottle every time. Why do I do that? It prevents my sugar from hardening up. I'm going to put a little bit of the freshman's yeast. So basically you can see it takes about an hour from start to the oven. I'm just going to mix this with my hand. Now a lot of people, they do this in reverse. They put the flour, the cornmeal and such into a large bowl and then pour the liquid in. That liquid is heavy. I ain't gonna fight with it. It's way easier for me to try and fold it in. It's exactly what I'm gonna do, but I need to add my butter in here. So my butter is out because I'm planning to whip up some vegan black cake. And as a result, my butter is out. It's melted. I should probably use a spoon. Let's grab a spoon or another spatula and just get some out. Yeah. So about 2 tablespoons is sufficient to fold in. That's good. And of course I use the basil. And I'm going to have to go slowly with this fold in because this bowl is pretty much at the brim. I probably should put this into the larger or the wider bowl because the wider mouth will make it less likely to splash. So I'm using the original spice that all Jamaicans grew up with, the Benjamin's vanilla. And it's not vanilla extract, it's artificial vanilla flavoring, but we're all used to it. They do a good job. I'm just adding a little bit of salt in here. You know, the salt is to flavor the earth. Ooh. I'm putting in some cinnamon. That's a good amount of cinnamon. I have ground cloves. You guys know by now that I do my spices. I ground them up myself. You know what I forgot, guys? I forgot this is star anise. I forgot the flaxseed. And this is the allspice, the Caribbean allspice. Take my time and fold that in. Smells so good. And you know what? My friend who's allergic is not around, so I can use a bit of almond extract. And I'm using some of the real vanilla extract as well. So I have the artificial and the real. And then my number one favorite spice when I'm baking, the nutmeg. Oh, the nutmeg. Yeah, so I won't be needing anything from more from that. I got everything that I need here. And I'm gonna put a bit of the cornmeal. And I think for sure I'm gonna have to go to the wider bowl. Because as I drop this in, my husband is always saying to me, you always think you can do a whole heap in a little bowl. It's not that. Because I never start out to make a lot, but because I'm not doing exact measurements, this is what happens to me. The sad part is that when I go to the other bowl, you won't be able to see the mixture. To see everything coming together nicely as I fold them in. So I think that's what I'm going to have to get myself a larger glass bowl that allows me to show you guys. All right, so my empty bowl. I'm going to try to transfer this goodness over without making any spills. I got it there. Oh, that flavors. Oh my goodness. The flavors are awesome. So I've got coconut milk. I've got fresh coconut, some cassava. I've got all my liquid spice, my powdered spice. I've had the sugar combined with the flour and the cornmeal that I'm using to do the final binding of the pudding. And I remember that I didn't do my flaxseed. So what does that mean? I'm going to grab my flaxseed and the grinder and just do that real quick and add it in. But I'm not going to go ahead and put the flaxseed in this, like, you know, how I do the egg replacer, because this is a very moist mixture. Those two little ones are both snoring their little hearts out. It's too funny. Too cute. Sorry guys, I was distracted there. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that because this mixture, yeah, that's about a tablespoon and a tip of flaxseed. I'm going to go ahead and grind this out now. I'm going to add it to the dry mixture. Oops. Plugging in the wrong thing. Let's go and see. Yeah, that's a good grind. That's a very good grind, guys. So that's done. And continue to combine. And then I'm going to continue just to fold in the rest of the dry ingredients. Flaxseed and all. What time is it where you are right now? It's 5 o'clock, my side of the world. Let's just get it all combined rather nicely. just gonna pour in the rest of it. Yeah. And I'm gonna need my space to put in my mixture to my jar. So I'm just gonna head and move the turntable back to where I usually keep it. I'm gonna make a small one. My brother's having Christmas dinner today. I'm not going, but I can send one over to his place. I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yay! So this small tray is gonna be for his house, and then the big one's gonna be for my house. Because my family loves this, and knowing them, they're not gonna keep it to themselves. They're gonna share it out. See, just like that. It's coming together nicely. Trust me, I made one last week, and oh my goodness, there were fights for it. Even though, as I told you earlier, it didn't come together as nicely as I liked it to, because the flavors were popping so much in it. Folks did not care that it was a little bit on the softer side, and it is typically a soft-ish pudding. The more you put in there to bind it, more flour, more cornmeal, then the firmer it gets. But sweet potato pudding as a whole is soft in nature, but not soft to be gooey soft. It's more of a gummy soft. So yeah, this looks good. This is looking really good. So I'll send a small one to my brother's house and keep the big one here. The wonderful thing about this, if you just want something to munch on, it's the perfect thing. If you want something to have with a cup of tea or hot chocolate, it's also the perfect thing. Some people put fruits in their puddings. I don't like raisins and fruits in my pudding. If it's blended, yeah, I can do a little bit, but I typically don't. Just because it's already sweet and the fruits themselves are sweet. Okay, I found one lump of cornmeal or dry mixture. So I've just worked that in, and that's why I'm just taking my time and going around the bowl, because it's almost at the brim, or it's literally at the brim. And I want to make sure all my ingredients are properly incorporated now. See, another little bit here that didn't get blended. Okay. So I could use a measuring cup, or I could just pour it directly into the pan. I'm going to get a measuring cup. It makes for easier life. This measuring cup is 2 cups. Give it 3 cups. Just like that. Let me make sure this is not a lump. No, it's not. I like to put more butter on top. But because I'm planning to do the topping later, I don't think I'm going to do. And this tray is the bigger one now. See how much fills it up. That's 2. I think I have something that didn't blend out. I do, I do, I do, I do. Guess what? It's a piece of cassava. But guess what I'm going to do with it? I'm sticking it in one of the corners. I ain't stressing because it's going to get cooked out or baked in. And it's going to be super delicious. So that's 6 cups, 8 cups. So this basically holds 10. Alrighty. I get the last of it out of the bowl. So in total, the mixture I did today had, okay, this is like 11 cups, and I did 14 cups. So now I know I have a point of reference the next time, because I never really pay attention to it, how much it is. I just not making a pudding, and I make myself a pudding. Now, you may notice that I didn't test the sweetness, and I'm trusting that the sweetness is fine because I am using sweet potato, but I can still test it. That's perfect. That is perfect. I'm gonna put this in the oven now. Rinse my hands so that they don't slip out while I'm putting them in the oven. I usually cover it. I'm debating if I should today. I think I will still. But I want to put some butter on top. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Don't know why. But every time I bake, I get a different vibe, and I just go with the vibe as I'm baking. So this time around, I get the sense that I should put the extra butter, so I'm doing that. Every time I bake, I feel inclined to try something a little different. I know I usually do this for sure when I'm doing caramel pudding, but I don't normally do it with sweet potato pudding. And just because the two main ingredients are different, here the cornmeal is used to bind the super gummy potato so that it's not too soft when it's baked. It has a somewhat semi-firm texture. Now, what I do to help in the process, I'll take off this glove, is I put a bit of foil paper. Ooh, this foil paper is done, but I think it's sufficient for me to cover the one end that loafing. Yeah, that's now this done, 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 done. So steaming is part of the process, right? So I go ahead now and I'm tucking this one in. My oven is at 400. At 400 degrees Fahrenheit on convection. I now need to secure the larger one. So I'm just getting the foil paper to cover it. Did you know that these little things that you press on the side are designed to keep your foil paper in place so you don't accidentally spill it? Oh, sometimes these stickers that they have, which is basically there to help you start your roll, they don't want to come off. So I'm going to do this. This is sufficient. Yep. I'm going to do it across 2 folds. And then let's do the second one. Not too much across. Yep. It's good. And I'm going to tuck it in the oven. And just like that. And that's in perfection. Now it's time to clean up. You might say why, but I gotta clean up because when I transition to my next thing, I want a clean kitchen. So now the satisfying part of cleanup, hearing the running water, seeing your dirty stuff get transferred into clean things to be used for cooking and baking again, it gives a great satisfaction. So put away my grinder. I have some sorrel that I need to bottle out, so I think I'll do that next. Let's try to elevate this a bit. I'm flipping this around to the other side. You guys should be able to see me. Yay! So, one of the things I love about cooking and baking is to see simple things get transformed into these delicious creations. And in those quiet moments after I'm waiting for my creation to come to life, I love to just clean up then. It's just a very satisfying thing. So those if you're wondering, what is Andrea doing? This is what Chef Twellyah is doing. I'm just cleaning up. Wiping down the stovetop that I use as my table just now. And when you have a small space, you gotta be creative. Especially because you have a family who may not be into what you're doing, or they may be just busy just living life. You don't want to be too intrusive for them. So you gotta just take your time, utilize the space that's available to you. in this case, I'm using the kitchen and the fact that the stove is pretty good size and it's a flat surface. It allowed me the opportunity to whip that up. I did that in like an hour and a half. Well, a little bit less. So that's pretty cool. Now, when these kids wake up in the morning and they all like sweet potato pudding, it will be ready. Right? They were to make pizza last night, but they decided to go ahead with wings and fries. So that was what they feasted on last night, and soda. Typical kids sleepover stuff, right? So now the same paper towel that I used to clean off just now, I fold it. And because I don't have that much space as I wash, I'm going to stack them on that. And now I do clean up. The running water sounds so therapeutic. I understand why some people just like wash dishes to calm themselves down. Seeing the dirty stuff being transformed into clean, pretty cool. Oh, I forgot that this won't close unless it's on the blender. This blender has so many safety features, it's not even funny. My sister-in-law, Ruthie, she's so good at baking. Anything, you name it, she can make it. And she does it with such ease. But she says she doesn't do it anymore, not as much. Yeah. Making sure this is properly rinsed out. Yep. Washing out that glass bowl now. When you're baking and your batter gets stuck on your bowls, if you don't wash them right away, then it's become a real challenge to clean up later. That's one of the reasons I love to wash right away after using. And also too, because I don't have a whole heap of bowls, or a whole lot, or many. That's me speaking Caribbean. A whole heap. Whole heap in Jamaican terms mean many, too much, or a whole lot. Does that make sense? A whole lot? No, it doesn't in English compute. It means that I don't have too many. I just have a few. I have about I think half a dozen mixing bowls, two glass one, a small and a medium, and yeah, then that's all clean. Let's continue to wash. And I can put this up here now, and that becomes my holder. So this is the advantage to having the double sink. It's about 10 minutes. I need to set a timer, but I don't want to disturb these kids. So I'm gonna finish up my stream as soon as I'm done cleaning up my kitchen. I'm gonna be baking up a Jamaican black cheesecake for these kids. I should have done it last night, so this pudding will make up for it somewhat, because I was supposed to bake it and allow it to sit in the fridge overnight so they could cut into it this morning or mid-morning. That did not happen. So I'm thinking maybe I should probably still go ahead and do that now. That way I keep my promise to them. Not sure if I'll be able to do it. I probably jump off and come back on in a little bit. But the cream cheese is out. It's at room temperature. Yeah. I'm 2 bowls away from finishing up. Bowl number 1. What I like about the glass bowls is that if there's any residue, you can see it right away. All clean. You just need to clean up the mixer blade. These blades are sharp. Yep. A little bit more soap to clean this up. Okay, thank you God, we'll be done. Just got a knife to wash now, and I'm done. My cleanup. The garbage trucks are here for pickup, 5:30. They're so good at keeping their schedule. Alrighty. Now, Christmas time can be a really lonely time for folks. So if you have the opportunity to reach out to somebody, please do. You never know. You may just be what they need. I had some soap on my hand after I did all of that cleanup. So yeah, Now my space is clean once more. I'll just get rid of the stuff in the sink. So, as I was mentioning earlier, I made some sorrel. You guys may have heard me said in previous streams that when you have cancer, not to sweeten your sorrel drink to get the maximum benefits. So my friend's daughter, she can't use much ginger. It's too strong. It messes her up. But she loves the flavor of my sorrel. So I did some. Make sure there's no debris on my apron now. So I just need to pour it into the bottle it up. I did a small pot for her. And I'm just going to pour it out now that I remember about it and get it out of the way so she can pick it up later. Our hubby can drop it off for me. She can have it for her Christmas. And I am going to go ahead and do the remainder that I need to do later on. That way, if you're on with me, you can see me doing that. Those two are so knocked out, it's not even funny. So, yeah. Yeah, that means you can see. I was going to do some cornbread. I haven't touched it yet. But I need a cup. I have my bottles that I'm putting them in for her. I'm using 2 bottles. Oh, that sorrel smells so good. I just need to get a measuring cup. I think I have one that can do just fine. Yep. I need to also put on the gloves because this thing will stain up my fingers. You two wake up? You two want to wake up same time? Yeah. It's after 5. So I'm doing a live stream to my YouTube channel right now. So this sorrel has no sugar, and that's just because she's someone who currently has cancer, so she can't have it with the sugars. I want to try to get as much as I can in here, but just because it has no sugar doesn't mean it's not popping with the flavors. I've got my I knew that was going to happen, and that's why I was watching it. But yeah, just like that. There we go. I'm going to see if I can get this a tad little bit more in there. Although technically I should wait until all the bubbles go away. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. Yeah. So if I leave it, the bubbles will just take its time and disappear. This bottle was the wine that I used last year when I was baking. So I kept the bottles because they're great, especially when they have the cap lids. They're great for bottling up your sorrel and make a nice presentation to your friends and family members. So that's bottle number 1 for her. That looking good. I'll do in this bottle number 2. The thing, I try not to squeeze the sorrel until the very end. So for her, she's not getting any pressed sorrel. She's just got the straight brew. A little bit more to fill it up. Yeah, that took it right up. So she'll get good sorrel for her Christmas. Need a lid for it. Just like that, her sorrel is ready. So I'm going to jump off this stream now. I'll be back on shortly. But there you go. Quick and easy Jamaican sorrel wine, and that goes great with Jamaican fruit cake by itself. But in this case, because she is positive for cancer and she's in treatment right now, I wouldn't give her any of the cake because it has sugar, and the fruits, their sugar content are very high. So she has to try as best as possible to keep an alkaline body. So yeah, this one is done. There's still some sorrel left. I can get maybe about this same amount, but I'm not into squeezing and milking it out as yet. So just to show you what I'm talking about. So in my pot, see, I still have sorrel. And when I squeeze the hibiscus or the sorrel pulps, it will give me more sorrel. So I'll leave that for later. I'll focus instead on making up pizza dough for these kids. So I'll be back in a little bit and then doing my Jamaican black cheesecake. Alrighty. And then I'll also bottle out the regular sorrel that I have sitting, waiting to be bottled. Thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate the support, and remember that you eat to live rather than live to eat. It's Andrea, aka Chef Twellyah, signing out for now. I'll be back shortly, all being well. Thanks for hanging with me. Bye.